Today we will try to understand a very interesting topic of journalism, photojournalism. Before actually going into it, let's have an understanding of what does the term journalist mean. Who is a journalist? There are at least four categories of people who contribute to the media in the practice of the profession called journalism. Number one, we all know reporters and correspondents, people who cover events, who write news reports, who write articles, who write features. These are all these this category is called reporters or correspondents. Both correspondents and reporters fall into this category. They are writers basically. There is another category of journalists. They are called sub-editors. Basically, they are called sub-editors. As they move in the hierarchy, they are called senior sub-editors, chief sub-editors, news editors, and so on. But basically, they edit the copy, they rewrite the copy, they correct the copies, and they also make the pages. In print, they also make the pages. On the web, they place news items on the page of the website. They are basically editors. The third category is called photojournalist category. These are all people who are basically photographers or videographers. What do they do? They provide pictures and videos for newspapers, magazines, or websites or television channels. They are also called journalists. We all know who is a photographer. Who is a photographer? Who is a photographer?
Someone captures the pictures.
Yes, a person who captures pictures with a camera. Yes. Till about 10, 15 years back, it was a specialized field. People who studied photography or people who practiced photography became photographers. But today, every one of us is a photographer. Every one of us is a photographer. How is it possible? All of us possess a mobile phone with which we can take pictures and shoot videos, right? But photojournalism as a profession is a highly specialized job where you need to follow so many things, including ethics. It is very similar to the job of a journalist, that is a reporter or an editor or a sub editor. It is very similar, but the skill set is different. You should be able to handle a high end camera and a device which uses technology. You should be alert as a reporter, you should possess all the qualities of a reporter plus the skill to operate a camera, right? The profession of photojournalism has evolved over years, over centuries. In the beginning, say when newspapers started to publish in the 19th century, there were no photographers because a camera was a very costly equipment, and it was very difficult to travel with a camera, to take a camera on your hand from place to place because the camera was so huge. Hope you would have you seen any old type cameras, stationary cameras? I'll try to show you some. There was no technology. Sorry, I've gone offline. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to present a picture. I'm not able to. Okay, it's not. Uh, it's not responding. Some technical. Okay, right. There were no photographers, and because of the fact that cameras cannot be shifted from one place to the other easily. So what they did was they hired people draw draw pictures. One second, it has gone blank.
Once again, offline.
Now it's okay. Okay, right. This is the camera of olden days.
Sir, your voice is so feeble, sir.
People. Uh, this is the camera. This is the old camera. You cannot shift this from one place to the other very easily. There were smaller ones. Is the voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you. This is a bigger one actually, but all the cameras were of this type, and they couldn't be shifted from one place to the other. So what they did was they did this. They hired people to draw. This is the front page. This is a portion of the front page of the New York Times from 1885, 19th century. Since there were no pictures, they hired illustrators or paint or people who are good at drawing to do this. They couldn't have pictures, so what they did was they had drawings on pages. So after camera became relatively cheap and easy to handle, people understood the importance of photographs. Before actually going into the details of photojournalism, let's understand that one picture is equal to 1,000 words. This is a very famous maxim in journalism. One photograph, one picture is equal to 1,000 words. What 1,000 words could not explain can be easily explained by a single photograph. That is the impact photographs have on people, on readers, on viewers. There is also a survey, it's called an eye track survey. uh, it showed the eye track survey happened about 10 years back. So it showed how people were attracted to a newspaper through the photograph. You will find today every newspaper will carry a big picture on the front page because the eyes get attracted to the photograph first. That's called a central visual element. So photograph is central to any media. Video is central to the visual media. Photograph is central to newspapers, to magazines, websites. Websites, being a multimedia platform, can also use videos. So here, photojournalism refers to the person or the practice of capturing pictures and shooting videos. We include both photo and video in photojournalism. Who is a photojournalist? A person employed in a media organization to provide pictures and videos that supplement the news items. Usually, photographs and videos are used as to amplify, to explain, or to add value to a news item. I'll show you a photograph now. You'll be easily you'll be able to find identify the location very easily. I'll show you a photograph now. You'll be able to under find out what is the event and what is the location easily. What is this? What is this? Madurai Vaigai, the annual Chitrai festival of Kalladagar entering the Vaigai. We are able to identify this because of the crowd. One, because of the crowd, and two, because of the river. But we do not find the deity there. We do not find Kalladagar there. You will find him in this picture. This is the picture. If only from this picture, a person who comes from outside Tamil Nadu or outside India will be able to identify that this is a deity and this is a ritual of the deity entering the right. Photographers are equal to writers and editors in a news organization. They are not second ranking or third ranking citizens of a news organization. They are equals. So, what do they do is, how do they go about their work? Number one, first, they are assigned certain events to cover. The previous night, they will be told that the Prime Minister is visiting Sivakasi. So, you have to cover the events attended by the Prime Minister. He's visiting Kalishwari College. He's visiting the Fireworks Manufacturers Association, and he's also visiting the railway station. These are the three events. So the photographer is assigned three events. You have to be there to get pictures. So what his job is to reach the place of action at least 15 minutes in advance and leave the venue 10 minutes after the person, the VIP or the minister or the prime minister or the collector leaves the venue. Why? Because you all know former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated in Sri Perumbudur. We all know. What happened after the because Sri Perumbudur is closer to Chennai. Journalists met Rajiv Gandhi at the airport, Chennai airport. Many of them returned to their offices. Many of the journalists, many of the reporters, and many of the photographers returned to their office because Sri Perumbudur was just an election meeting. There was nothing more to cover there. So very few, very a few, or I think just two or three photographers were present at the venue at Sri Perumbudur when the blast occurred. So pictures of the assassination were very costly. Costly in the sense they were precious. Just two photographers, two news photographers had the negatives. We saw that in the beginning there were no photographs, there were drawings. Later we had costly equipment, costly cameras which used film rolls. Film rolls came in different speed. You can use a film roll in different speed, and you have to use cameras with different speeds to shoot the film roll. Later everything went digital. With application of technology, it's easier for you to shoot pictures at random, in sequence. You can shoot 100 pictures of the same subject or the same venue or the same theme or the same meeting in a few seconds. That has become possible. Earlier, what the photographers used to do was they used to shoot pictures, bring the camera to the office, enter the dark room. The room was called dark room because that is where they developed the negatives with using chemicals inside a dark room. Because if light penetrates the film, the exposure will be lost. The film will be lost. You'll not get a picture. It was a play with light and darkness. They'll shoot the film in light, come back to the dark room and develop the film in darkness. That was a play with light, darkness and light. So when it will take at least half an hour to 45 minutes to process a film roll. Usually a film roll contained 36 frames. It depends. It depended on the size of the roll and the speed of the roll. On an average, 36 frames. So when you develop 36 frames, not all 36 will be printable, will be sharp, will be clear. So he will identify the best frames and take copies using bromide paper. Again, the film that is developed, processed, is called the positive film. The negative becomes positive, and then it will get exposed on a bromide sheet. Bromide paper was the paper used to print photographs. We do it even now. The paper used to print photographs is called bromide paper, bromide sheet, similar to the paper we used to write, the paper we used to draw, similar with the coating of bromide. So the image is captured on a sheet of paper, and then they'll try to select the best photograph that will be used for printing. So it's a long process. When photography was invented, we had only black and white photos, like black and white cinema. Color evolved later, and the color was not as attractive as it is today. They were able to use only minimal colors, not many colors. Today, using digital technology, we are able to capture real colors. Are you able to see a picture in the background on my screen? What do you see there? It is a beach. It is a picture of a beach in which you will find even the difference between the deep sea, which is deep blue, and the sea that is very near to you, the color is different. You can see the differences in color. But this was not possible when color just evolved. Color photography came into existence. They had just three or four colors, and the colors were not that attractive. But today you can create sharp pictures with 3D effect. You can even feel the pictures, you can touch the pictures because of technology. Okay, right. When photographers reach the venue, they capture the pictures, they used to process the film, take printouts of the good ones, present them to the editor, the person who is in charge of the edition in the newspaper, or the person who is in charge of a television channel, or the person who is in charge of a web portal. When this is the person who decides which picture should be used. The job of the photographer ends with presenting the pictures. The photographer also has another job to do, that is writing captions for the photograph. They call it cut line. Well, can anyone give me a caption for this picture? I'll show you a picture, another picture, familiar picture. You would have seen this picture. Can any one of you write a caption for this picture? Caption is also called a cut line. It describes event. It answers the question of what, where, who, when, why, and how. Not necessarily all the questions, but at least what, where, when, how. Can anybody try? No need for a detailed. I mean, I don't expect you to identify the festival or identify the temple. Just a simple caption. Just a simple caption. Caption should address what, when, where. Just try. What is this? Car festival. Car festival of a temple. Obviously, car festival of a temple. Where? You can say in Madurai or in Sivakasi, whichever place is there. When? When? It, we have to identify the exact date and day of happening. We have to identify the exact place of happening, and we should also explain what it is. Just the three things. This is the case with a picture like this. This is about a mass of people. We don't need to identify. We need to identify only this. We need to identify only the temple car. The chariot festival or car festival of this temple happened at this place on this day. This is a bare caption. This is a bare caption which will explain what happened, where did it happen, when did it happen. These are the three elementary things we should find in the caption of a photograph. We can also give a detailed caption. What is a detailed caption? An ordinary caption is the car festival of Meenakshi Sundareswara temple was held in Madurai on Monday. This is a bare caption with minimum required information. There is this will make sense for people in Madurai, for people living in Sivakasi, for people living around Madurai, or people who know about the festival, who can easily identify the festival. But for people living beyond Tamil Nadu, or living beyond India, living overseas, a detailed caption is required. What will be a detailed caption? Thousands of people fill the streets of Madurai on the occasion of the car festival of Meenakshi Sundareswara temple on Monday. The deities were taken around in two temple cars with devotees drawing them all along the massy streets. This is a detailed caption. Detailed caption is also required when you carry a picture as a standalone. It is called a standalone picture. I'll show you different types of pictures later, but just this information is enough. I'll show you what is a standalone picture later, what is a different types of pictures, right? So this is how a photographer captures pictures or videos for the publication, or for the web portal, or for the TV news channel. But when you are working for different media organizations, your focus should be different. For print, you need to have a different focus. For a TV channel, for a visual medium, you need to have a different focus. For a web portal, the focus is totally different. For a web portal, you need to have a multimedia eye. It is not that you shoot a picture, you should also shoot a video. The video should be comprehensive. It should show all elements of an event. Whereas for print, it is enough that you show the car, temple car with devotees, or people around it. But for a TV channel or a web portal, you need to capture emotions with the picture, with the video. You need to capture human beings, like the job of a reporter. What is the job of a reporter? To speak the truth, to write about ordinary people, to have human element in whatever they write. Likewise, all photographs should have basic human elements. Unless you are talking about technology, or you are talking about gadgets, if you are taking pictures of gadgets, even there it'll be better if you have a human being standing near the gadget, or displaying the gadget, or explaining the functions of a gadget. In every picture, there should be room for human beings. Human element should be there, number one. And number two, every picture should capture the truth. It is with technology, it is now easy for any photographer to alter the pictures. All of you are very familiar with Android phones, right? You also take pictures, but you have, you know how to enhance the pictures, you know how to decorate the pictures, you know how to eliminate certain things. All of you know, right? Especially when you send some pictures to your friends, right? But that should not happen in photojournalism, because the job of a photographer is to show the truth as it is, right? Does that mean that a photographer can show dead bodies while covering a war, or bodies of people scattered on the road in a major accident? Can he show that? Because he's supposed to show the truth. Is it allowed or not? Will you accept it or not? You are all readers, you are all, you are all patrons of web portals and television channels. Will you allow it or not? Will you allow photographs or videos showing dead people in a war or in an accident? Will you allow it or not? Will you see it or not? Will you accept it or not? Yes, yes or no?
No, sir.
No. Why? What's the reason? Why? Why? Simple reason. We don't like it. We will not allow it because we don't like it. See, we don't buy a newspaper to see dead bodies. We don't pay the cable TV man provider money for showing us dead bodies. We don't subscribe to a news portal to see accidents happening or dead bodies, because there is a sense of decency and decorum in the profession of journalism. Certain things cannot be shown just because we are asked to tell the truth, reveal the truth. It's not a blank check for showing everything, right? In pictures or videos. Uh, One simple example: if you display a photograph of an accident, a gory accident, even without showing the dead bodies, imagine the the mind of people whose relatives lost their lives in the accident. Say a mother who has lost her son in the accident. If she happens to see the photograph on the newspaper, what will be her emotion? What will be her reaction? They say it is adding insult to injury if you show accident pictures, gory pictures, because we consume news, we access news tools because we want to feel good in the beginning of the day. When we step out of our home, we have to go with the belief, with the conviction that everything is okay. Today is going to be very fine for me. Today I'm going to do everything, everything successfully. I'm going to accomplish everything successfully. I'm not going to fail anywhere. It's going to be a pleasant day. I'm going to be happy throughout the day. This is how we try to. That is why we you send good morning messages. Yes, in WhatsApp, in social media, every good morning message has a positive tone, because you want your friend, you expect your relative to be happy throughout the day. That's the intention, right? Right. So also it is the case with newspapers and TV channels and magazines and also web portals. Like newspapers, uh, photojournal, like the mainstream journalism, photojournalism also has a code of ethics. Especially in photography, ethics are very important. Number one, gory pictures, yes, because that is not suitable for all people. A child watches TV news, a child reads newspaper. But when you introduce a child to gory images, that is not good for its mind, right? Whereas in cinema, you classify a feature film as suitable for universal viewing, or suitable for adult viewing, or U bar A or A bar U, whatever. But that such classification is not there for TV channels or newspapers or web portals. For at least to be decent, to uphold decency, we should not show blood. We should not show gory images. We should not show dead bodies. Number one. And also, while taking pictures, the photographer has to be very, very sensitive. Sensitive in the sense he cannot show everything. For example, you cannot take pictures of people begging on the roads just to show that Sivaka, many people are begging on the roads in Sivakasi, or to imply that many people have become poor in Sivakasi, or beggars have become a menace in Sivakasi. These are all bad things. Even you are not supposed to call somebody a beggar. Nobody is a beggar. We cannot. Nobody is a beggar because uh, the better alternative to refer to people who are found on the streets is they seek alms. They are seekers of alms. They expect you to provide them with the daily food. They expect you to provide them with decent clothes. They are not beggars. If begging is to be applied, every one of us is a beggar. At some point of time, we beg for something. So begging by usage, constant usage, has become a negative term. So, and you cannot show women and children in photographs in a very inappropriate manner, right? A photographer should be very sensitive while taking pictures of women and children. Otherwise, the respect for the profession will be lost. And a photographer should be agile. A photographer should be punctual. A photographer, one basic requirement for a photographer is he should always be found with his camera equipment. Today, it is not just the camera. A photographer has to carry different types of lens, a zoom lens, a wide angle lens, so many lenses. He has to carry the base equipment, the camera. He has to carry batteries, spare batteries. He has to carry a charger. If necessary, he may have to carry a tripod also. He has to carry a zoom lens, a viewfinder, different types of viewfinders. So the equipment carried by a photographer is very heavy, but he has to be found with it wherever he goes. Like a journalist who has to always 24 by 7, he should be found with a notebook and a pen. Notebook need not be conventional big notebook, it can be a small pocket diary, but a pen and a notebook are essential items for a journalist. Even in his sleep, a photographer and a journalist should keep those essential items within their reach. Anything can happen anytime. A writer, a reporter can get details of an event from so many sources over phone, but a photographer cannot do that. He has to be on the spot whenever whatever happens. He has to be on the spot to take pictures. If you don't take pictures, you will not get pictures. Then you have to go beg, borrow from someone else. That is not possible nowadays because of competition. Everyone feels that whatever pictures they have are unique to their publication, unique to their news organization. So they don't, it is copyright. Material is copyrighted. So they don't share, normally, they don't share photographs with any other organization because there is another reason. The other reason is now every news organization has a portal exclusively for photos where you can buy photos and videos for different use. People today buy photographs from news organizations for their personal use, for publishing in magazines, for publishing in books, for commercial use, even for advertisements, for functions, for events. So photos have a larger value than just news value. Photos that are published in a newspaper or a web portal, or videos that are shown in a news channel have better value outside these news organizations. They are sold for a fee. And old photos, they are called antique photos, they have better value. Photographs, rare photographs, shown taken long back. I'll show you some rare photographs. We'll come to the that part later in about 10 minutes. And the photographer is usually expected to contribute photos for news reports. For news reports are in the form of coverage of events, seminar, college day, graduation day, meetings, conferences, press conferences. So these are the events normally assigned to reporters and photographers. The golden rule is wherever the photographer goes, the reporter should also accompany him, or wherever the reporter goes, the photographer should accompany him. Only when this combination occurs, you'll be able to, one, get a good picture. Number two, you'll be able to get a good story. Number three, you'll be able to get a good caption for the picture. When a photographer goes all alone on an assignment, he uses just two eyes and one brain. When a reporter goes along with him, there are two brains and four eyes. So you can see better, you can see things in a different perspective. Ultimately, the presentation, the printing of a photograph, the publication of a photograph, or the showing of a video in a news channel, or the publication of or a video or a photo in a news portal, depends on your perspective. How do you look at things? When you look at things, you always have the human being in your mind. How, if you see waste plastic scattered all over the place, what will you do? What will be your reaction? You see waste plastic in front of your auditorium. What will be your reaction? As students, what will be your reaction? What will you do?
And throw it in the dustbin.
Yes,
You just pick it and throw it in the dustbin.
yes. Your immediate reaction will be to remove the waste plastic away. Then what will be the next level of reaction? You'll be angry with people who littered the area with waste plastic, right? You'll be very angry. Then what next? What next? You'll place a board saying this is a plastic free zone, or you may place a board saying littering will attract fine, right? Or you may post a person to find out who is doing this nuisance. So many things happen just by looking at a place littered with waste plastic. So many reactions come to your mind. All these things should be captured in a photograph. The photograph should be able to invoke or incite you to such reactions. First, you should be angry, despite the awareness created against the against littering, against against unethical disposal of waste plastic. See, the plastic menace is because of our disposal, not because of plastic. Plastic as such is not a demon. is not your enemy. We are our enemies. We do not properly dispose of the waste plastic. That is the problem. But instead of finding a solution to disposal of plastic, we are trying to ban plastic use. But it does not been successful because of this, because plastic has become part and parcel of our lives. It has become an essential commodity in our lives. It's very difficult to stop their usage, but still, if we are able to teach people how to safely dispose of the plastic use will increase. But now we are neither here nor there. We have not banned plastic. We are yet to safely dispose of. We are yet to learn about safe disposal of plastic. We are in a twilight zone. Okay, right. So this is yes. These emotions should be captured in a photograph, and a photojournalist is expected to contribute photographs to the routine daily newspapers, magazines, as a daily routine. Also, he'll be expected to contribute photographs for features, special features. Say you're going to celebrate the 50th year of your college, right? Golden jubilee of your college, and for this you are going to bring out a souvenir, and that souvenir should contain photographs that reflect the origin, the history, the achievements, the objectives, the principles, and uh, what you stand for, what the students of this college stand for, what the teachers stand for, what the management stands for. So these should be captured in such photographs in a souvenir or a magazine. In a newspaper or TV channel or a web portal, special features are commissioned, for which a photographer will be assigned to take pictures. Special assignments can be anything. It can be on a theme, it can be about an event, it can be about a person. Supposing if you're going to have a theme, and these are called photo essays or photo stories. I'll just show you a photo essay, a recent photo essay, and you tell me what it is about and what are the emotions it captures, or what are the emotions the photo story presents, and what is the kind of reaction that invokes in you. I'll just show you a photo story. This is a photo story. This is a picture essay. It is called a photo story. It is a picture essay. This is from The Guardian. Usually, a picture essay or a photo story is a series of pictures, is a series of photographs accompanied by short write ups. This is one picture. This is the first picture. Observe what you see in this. The people who keep the refugee trains running out of Ukraine. This is a photo essay. This is the station. This is the platform. This first you saw one of the compartments. Inside the compartment, this is the station. These are all people who have gathered at the station. I said people. Look at the faces of these people. Look at the faces of these people. This is the captain. This is the pilot of the train waiting for instructions. This is the person who is accompanying. He is the train manager. This is a mother She's happy because she is leaving Ukraine. They are leaving for Poland. This is a compartment. Is a driver of the train. This is the cabin. He's another train driver. This is the cabin view from inside the cabin. And these are all people waiting at the platform for the 8th turn. Right. What is your reaction to this? What do you see in this? What did this photo essay tell you? Convey to you? What are these people doing? What are these people doing? These people are running away from a war. They are running away from their homes to protect themselves, to be alive. And did they carry? See, when we shift our homes, what do we do? We carry everything along with us, right? Our belongings occupy a larger space than our family. We require a truck to transport our belongings, but we need just 4 or 5 seats for the family, small space. Here, what do you find? Are they running away with their belongings? Are they running away with their belongings? No, they are running for their lives. So they because most of their belongings have been destroyed, bombings. They are going away. They actually this train went to Poland, neighboring Poland, and they carry with them only their children, feeding bottles, sleeping bags, bare minimum, and some of them carried records. You would have seen some of them carrying files with certificates, with records to show that they are citizens of Ukraine and they are refugees. They are running away. So these emotions are caught in these pictures. There is an element of despair. You saw people waiting for the trains. Will the train come? If the train comes, will we be accommodated? When we are accommodated, will it be possible to reach Poland safely? These are the questions bogging their mind. These are people running for their lives. They have nothing with them. They just carry their children, their loved ones along with them. Bare minimum essentials. A few sets of clothes, certificates, that's all. And they don't know what is waiting for them across the border in a new country. So these things are captured in these pictures. These are called photo essays. You can do a photo, right? All of you have mobile phones, right? All of you can take pictures. So maybe you take another 10-15 days, choose a theme: plastic menace, or transport, public transport, or just nature and beauty, or just birds, pet animals. Choose any theme and try to get about 10 pictures pictures in your mobile phones.
Okay, sir.
The- because all of us are photographers, and anyone who wishes to pursue a career in photojournalism can start working from now. Whatever we see should be captured because it is a record more precious than written word, than your news reports, than stories. Photographs are very, very precious. They capture the moment in history. They capture several moments in history. You can write or rewrite history using just photographs alone. Right. We'll go to the next thing. Like in journalism, there are certain do's and don'ts. That is code of ethics. I'll try to explain to you some of the basic requirements of a photojournalist. A photojournalist is required to accurately represent subjects. Whatever he shoots, they should be accurate. He should be honest. He should be sincere. He should always be revealing the truth. He should not show anything against the truth. That is why in photojournalism, you are not supposed to use Photoshop. You all know what is Photoshop. Yes, you can alter a picture using Photoshop. So photojournalists are not allowed to use Photoshop to alter their picture. They can do this. They can adjust the color, they can adjust the light, they can adjust the contrast. And in addition to that, two other things happen. One is called cropping. Cropping is you take away the unwanted portions of a photograph and get it, or crop it in a manner that only the essentials are present inside the frame. See, if you have 10 people in a picture and you want only 5 of them, you can cut out the rest and just keep 5 of them. This is called cropping. And there is another way of fitting the photograph on a page. You have a photograph that is, say, 20 centimeters long, but you have space only for 10 centimeters. What do? You resize the photograph to 10 centimeters proportionately. It is possible using all your tools, editing tools. Nothing will be lost in the photograph, only the size of the photograph will vary. It may be bigger or smaller, but all the subjects in the photograph will be retained to suit the place space available in a newspaper. In the case of a web portal, their cropping happens. Sizing need not happen because the size is flexible there. Cropping happens. And in the case of a video, you have to cut the video to the time slot available in a news slot. See, we have, for example, even in 24 by 7 news channels, the slot for a particular news bulletin is about, say, 20 minutes. In that 20 minutes, at least 8 to 10 minutes will be taken away by advertisements. The rest of the 10 minutes, you have the text, you have the anchor reading out the news, reading out the text for about 5 minutes. So you have only 5 minutes to show the visuals. Depending on the prominence or the importance of the visuals, you cut them to 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 40 seconds, or just 5 seconds, depending on it, on the time available. So cropping happens both in print and in visual journalism. And photographers shoot different types of photos. The basic photo is this. I'll show you it is called a mug shot. A mug shot is just this is a mug shot. This is a basic photograph. It shows the face and the shoulders. That's all. We call it. What do we call this photograph? We all know what it is. Ah, yes. What is this? What is this called?
Passport size.
Passport size photograph. Because it is used in passports. But in journalistic terminology, it is called a mug shot. Mug shot shows your face and the shoulders. This is the basic photograph used in write-ups, in stories, in articles, in features about people, about individuals. Just the name of the person will be there under the photograph, nothing else. This is a an elementary level of photography. This photo is used only as an illustration or a reference to a person in a news report. There is right. He should not manipulate his pictures. There are two types of manipulations. First manipulation is stage managed photograph. Staged photograph. You ask someone to do this and take a picture. All photographs should be natural, truthful representations of what happened. You cannot stage manage something. So this hall is very clean. I want to show that students of Kalisuri colleges are very irresponsible. So they litter, they throw waste paper, they throw used cups, they throw everything on the floor. So this is my preconceived idea, or this is what I intend to do. So what I do is bring garbage from outside the campus, scatter the garbage on the floor, and take a picture of the hall saying that this hall is very dirty. That is very unethical. That is a stage managed thing. Things should be presented as they are, truthfully. Right. Avoid bias. The photographer should avoid bias, like a reporter who should avoid bias, prejudices, his views, his thinking. Supposing a photographer is asked to cover an event, right? And people will say it is a political meeting, public meeting. People will be curious to know whether there was a big gathering or not. What was the response to the leader? What was the response to the public meeting? The photographer, if he is not interested in that particular political leader or a political party, he'll try to he should not try to show that there was no crowd, right? We'll find in many cases empty chairs, photographs of empty chairs, maybe because the photographer did not like the particular party or the particular speaker or the crowd. Or on the contrary, you want to show that it was a massive gathering, though only a few hundreds were present. So you take a picture of an area where people are very dense, seating is dense, you find only heads. But on the right and left sides, you find empty chairs. It is selective photography, which is not allowed in the media. Photojournalism does not allow this. So what should he do? take an entire picture, show where the crowd is and show where the chairs are, empty chairs are. Show both. You don't form an opinion, or you don't allow the reader to be prejudiced. Let the reader decide what it is, whether there was a crowd or not. Right. He should not influence the action of the subject. Right. In public examinations, you find that many physically challenged people also write for the examination. People who are visually challenged, they use what they call scribes, people who write the examinations for them. And other physically challenged people get some help from others. And say it happened. Say a person with an artificial leg is appearing for an examination, and the photographer asks the person to remove the artificial leg and place it by his side, so that people will know that he is using an artificial leg. He should not do that. He should not influence the subject. There was another case of a visually challenged student appearing for an examination. uh, the picture was taken with the consent of the superintendent of the examination center. The person who was invigilating at that time, the hall invigilator, the student herself, and there was a scribe. The permission of the scribe, the student, and everybody else was taken. But when it was published, the mother was furious, because she said she's having a diminishing vision. She's not fully blind. She has some residual vision. She's managing her life with that vision. Nobody knows. No people around me, my neighbors do not know that she has a vision problem. She is going to school as a normal child, but your photograph has shown her as a person with deficiency in vision. Now her self-esteem is shattered. Neighbors are looking at her as a person, as a visually challenged person. So what is the compensation for this? There is no compensation. However much you apologize, whatever you do will not compensate for this, because one photograph has changed a life. Her mother was asking, how can I expect my child to go for tomorrow's examination? Because everyone else in a school would have known that she's a visually challenged person. Now everybody will be coming to her and asking, what are you doing? How do you manage? How do you come to school? How do you study? So these are all far-reaching implications when you alter the actions of your subject. When you influence the subject, you cannot influence the subject. You have to, at another stage, after the photographer hands over the photographs, editing takes place. Editing takes place in so many different forms. First form is selection. Which photograph is appropriate? Photograph should be culturally appropriate, politically appropriate, humanly appropriate. You cannot, as I said already, you cannot show women and children inappropriately. You cannot show physically and mentally challenged people inappropriately. You cannot show the poor, the vagabonds, the nomads, the homeless people inappropriately. Just because you have a camera, it doesn't give you a freedom to shoot at will and show people in a very poor light. Especially when you are shooting women, you should tell them that you are taking a film, you are taking a photograph of them, so that they present themselves appropriately. You cannot say the angle the camera takes will show them in a very indecent way. It was not, though it is not intentional. So you have to inform the subject, if it is a woman, to that you are shooting a picture, so that she will adjust her clothing, she'll present herself appropriately. This is very, very, very important for photojournalists. The editor selects the pictures, good pictures, quality pictures, appropriate pictures, and he edits them or crops them to add beauty to the or value to the picture. Then he cuts them to size, suiting the space available. Though we have so many softwares for enhancing your picture, for improving your picture, the photographer should not do anything except altering the light, brightness, contrast, and color. Even color he cannot do. In all news organizations there is a separate department, that's a technical department that handles the pictures, that are used for printing, for uploading on the internet, and for showing on television. This technical team works on the pictures. It cannot alter the pictures, but it will fine tune the pictures to make them presentable. Then the editor decides which picture should go and which picture should be in the archives. Every news organization has a photo archives. Archives means you deposit all your pictures in a kind of a vault, which can be used at a later stage, or which can be merchandised, or which can be sold online. Every photographer is expected to take at least 10 pictures, 10 frames of the same subject or the same event. Earlier, when they were using film rolls, they shot only one or two pictures and used one of them, irrespective of whether they were good or bad. But now, because of technology, you have all of them use digital equipment, and they are supposed to shoot at least 10 frames of the same person and same event, so that the choice is left to the editor. The editor should be able to choose the best picture from the 10 frames, right? The next one is the 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 photographer is also required to write the caption or the tagline or the cut line for the photos. We saw earlier where, when, what. He should also provide a descriptive caption for the pictures. So most of the photographs, you'll find, not all, most of them are not that educated to write a clear caption. They can write a caption which can be understood, that's all. They cannot write a detailed caption. So what is required is, they can seek the help of a reporter, they can seek the help of an editor to write the caption. It will be good. It is always advised that a reporter, another journalist, accompanies the photographer on assignments, photo assignments, so that they can get better pictures and better captions. And we come to the another very important factor in photojournalism, that is ethical dilemma. Earlier we said you have to present the truth as it is, right? Certain truths cannot be presented, but there will be a dilemma when you are covering situations where human beings are at peril. Human beings are in conflict with nature. Human beings are suffering. For example, in the case of war, one such thing happened in the case of famine. This happened in Sudan. I'll show you a video. You just observe the video, and we'll discuss about it later. It is one of the most profound ethical dilemma faced by a journalist in the 20th century. Sorry, there was a. Were you able to see the video in full?
Yes, sir.
Right. What did you see? This is about just a picture that appeared in New York Times, 1994. What did you see in the What did you see in the picture? There were only two subjects. One was the one was the vulture. The second one was a child, an urchin. Right. This picture was shot in 1994 in Sudan by a photographer called Kevin Carter. Um, the time he shot the picture was a uh, trying very trying time for that region, East Sudan. People did not have food because there was famine sweeping the country. There were no rains. Agriculture was not possible. Food had to be actually food had to come from outside Sudan, and the available food was very inadequate. So the United Nations, through its one of its agencies, started gruel centers, Kanjitoti, gruel centers all over the country to feed people. In this picture, this child is crawling its way towards a gruel center. It's very hungry, it's tired, it's crawling towards a gruel center. And a few feet away is a vulture. What is the vulture waiting for? What is the vulture waiting for? Vulture is also hungry. The situation captured in this picture is this child is trying to reach a nearby gruel center, crawling all its way. It's very hungry and tired. This vulture is also hungry and tired. This is also waiting for its food. It is expecting that this child may not reach the gruel center and drop down dead, so that it can carry it to its family. Vulture can carry it to its family to feed its young ones. Right? This is the moment captured in this picture. Is this picture, this was published in New York Times, is it ethical or not? Or is it right or wrong to carry this kind of a picture? Will you accept this picture? As a reader, will you accept this picture? Yes or no? Is this picture appropriate or not? Yes or no? Right or wrong? Wrong or right? No, I'm not able to hear anyone. Right or wrong? Wrong. Anybody saying it's right? Who- Anybody? No, nobody says it's right because it captures the magnitude of famine, the pangs of hunger. Hunger is universal. Hunger is there for animals and human beings. Hunger is there for everyone. Is it right or wrong? Everyone agrees that it's wrong, right? Okay. The day it was published, on the day it was published, many readers objected to the publication of this picture because a photojournalist is also a human being. He should understand human suffering, human pain, and by publishing such a photograph, you are trivializing the the people of Sudan, and also you don't care for human values, human emotions. There was all round criticism in this photograph. It was said that In this photograph, it was said that this girl child was crawling towards the gruel center. One reader asked the newspaper, "Did you bother about the life of the child?" The person carrying a camera with him should have lifted the child, carried it to the gruel center, and fed it. Instead of feeding it, instead of saving it, he has thrown it to the vulture. This was the question asked. Don't you have basic human feelings? When you were at a distance to, or just shoo the vulture away, pelt a stone at the vulture, right? Drive the vulture away. Even if you don't save the child, you could have sent the vulture away. Instead, you have taken the picture which shows that the vulture would have, after the picture was taken, the vulture would have taken away the child. So these were the human emotions that evoked by this picture. And New York Times, what New York Times did was it sent two or three people to Sudan to find out what happened to the child. They met the family. The father said the child was saved. It was not a girl child; it was a boy. The child was saved, and he was all right at that time. So what happened? But as a consequence, this picture was awarded a Pulitzer Prize for that year, 1994. Pulitzer Prize is like the Nobel Prize for journalists. Kevin Carter, the photographer, got the Pulitzer Prize for photojournalism for 1994. But he had a conscience. His conscience was tormenting him. Why didn't you save the child? It tormented him for 6 months, and after 6 months, he committed suicide. This is the ethical question, yes, tormenting all of us. Whether you are a reporter, whether you are a photographer, ethical questions torment you all through your profession. The basic questions that should be asked are: is it good for the newspaper? Is it good for the TV channel? Is it appropriate for the news portal? Number two, will the publication of this photograph add any value to people's lives? Bring about a turnaround for good? Will it in any way improve the standard of living of ordinary people? These are the questions we should ask. A photographer should not take pictures to exhibit his skill. I'm a great photographer. He should not ignore human feelings. He should not ignore human values. And he should always have the human being in mind before shooting any pictures. I think it's already time. Maybe in the next session, we may extend this photojournalism for another 15-20 minutes before we move on to. We are yet to complete the glossary, and I think in the writing part, in the features part, we are yet to complete the obituary writing. Maybe in the next session we will. Right. Questions? Can we have questions for another, or you have a class? You have to go to your next class, or can we have questions?
Any clarification? Somebody have a question?
Not only about this session, anything in general, anything. You can ask any questions. I said in the first session itself, don't be afraid of asking stupid questions. We have to ask stupid questions. Only then we'll be able to clarify things, understand things better.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm
You can sit down. No need to stand up.
I'm Shafikaba from First Time English, sir. Sir, being an MA graduate, what are the things that I need to develop to become a journalist?
Um, uh, there are quite a few skills. One is we should be humane. We should first learn to empathize with people. Empathy is one of the qualities we need to develop from very early age. It's not just sympathy. We need empathy. Only with empathy we'll be able to understand the real problems of people. Number one. Number two is we should keep our eyes and ears open. We should keep all our prejudices, our personal views, our religion, our caste, our nationality, our language, our geography aside if we are to work as a journalist. These are all personal traits. I may belong to a religion, I may speak a language, I may be born in a country or in a region. These are all personal things. But a journalist is a citizen of the world. So we need to develop that perspective, that outlook, that global outlook while dealing with human beings. We are going to write about human beings, and we are going to speak the truth to the government. We are going to speak the truth to the judiciary. We are going to speak the truth to the people. So while speaking the truth, none of our views should interfere in what we do. So that kind of a division should be there between our work and personal life. And to be a successful journalist, we need to read read a lot. Reading should be like an everyday trait, like our regular routine, like eating, sleeping. Reading should be a regular what? It cannot be a hobby. It cannot be an option. It is part of your everyday life. Reading. Uh, the best way to improve your reading is to read at least start with 10 pages every day. I'll not sleep before reading at least say 20 pages, 25 pages. But once you start with 10 pages, as you grow up, as you improve your reading, unconsciously you will be reading 100 pages a day after 2 or 3 months. That'll be very easy for you. Just like that, you'll be reading a minimum of 100 pages. And reading will not only equip your knowledge, enhance your knowledge or your awareness of happenings around you or your knowledge of current affairs. It will also improve your concentration level. We are e-conditioned today. We are all conditioned electronically. We are conditioned by electronic gadgets. When you read, all these conditioning will wane. It will not just like that go away, but this conditioning will come down. Because of this conditioning, we lose our patience, we lose our temper, we get angry, we get restless, we get frustrated because of this conditioning. We are not happy with what we do. We are not able to sit in one place and read a book for 1.5 hours. Maximum is 45 minutes. How long can you sit in a place and read without doing any other thing, without looking at your phone or speaking to somebody? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. 4 hours, 5 hours. 6 hours. 7 hours. 8 hours. 9 hours. 10 hours. 11 hours. 12 hours. 13 hours. 14 hours. 15 hours. 16 hours. 17 hours. 18 hours. 19 hours. 20 hours. 21 hours. 22 hours. 23 hours. 24 hours. 25 hours. 26 hours. 27 hours. 28 hours. 29 hours. 30 hours. 31 hours. 32 hours. 33 hours. 34 hours. 35 hours. 36 hours. 37 hours. 38 hours. 39 hours. 40 hours. 41 hours. 42 hours. 43 hours. 44 hours. 45 hours. 46 hours. 47 hours. 48 hours. 49 hours. 50 hours. 51 hours. 52 hours. 53 hours. 54 hours. 55 hours. 56 hours. 57 hours. 58 hours. 59 hours. 60 hours. Getting distracted. How long? What is the maximum time you can sit and how long can you sit one place and read? Just read. Half an hour. Yes. That span should be, it should go up to 45 minutes, 1 hour. There are people who can sit in a place and read for half a day. When you read that long, your speed increases. You can finish a book in 2 days. Whereas with the current speed, you'll be able to finish a book in 2 months. The same thing can be accomplished in 2 days. So reading is very important. Then listening. Listen to people. Honor people's ability to express views, to have opinion. Listen to other people. Listen to great people. Listen to good speeches. That way you can improve your thought process and also your language skill, your ability to pronounce, your ability to understand, your ability to use the right word in the right place. Listening. Then writing. Write something, whatever. Don't worry about the mistakes. Even in speech, don't worry about the mistakes. Don't think you're asking stupid questions. Don't think that you're writing bad English. I repeat, we are not Englishmen. We are not native speakers. English is someone else's language. We should be ready to accept our mistakes, correct our mistakes. Only when you make mistakes, we'll be able to identify them and correct them. Unless you don't know what is your mistake, you'll keep on repeating the mistake forever. Nobody will stop you, because when even in your examinations at this level, nobody is going to correct your English. They look for only what you intend to convey, your knowledge of something, a book or a poem or a novel or a play. That's all. Beyond that, if the English is bad, they will not even care to read the answer paper. So correction can happen only when we realize that we are making mistakes, only when somebody points out the mistakes and correct them. So when once you get your mistakes corrected, you'll never repeat the mistakes. But we can make new mistakes. Any language like English is a very dynamic language. It keeps changing. So we should keep abreast of the usage, the new words, used in common discourse, the style writers adopt today is totally different from the style we read 20, 30 years back or 50 years back, our fathers, forefathers read. They read in compound and complex sentences. Today, you are supposed to write only in simple sentences as far as possible. Complex is only a choice, it's only an option. No compound sentences. So the style also evolves. We have to, all these things can happen if you are a reader. The best way to improve your language, improve your ability to be a journalist is to read a newspaper. That's all. Just read a newspaper. That is where you get a variety of writings. Many people write in different styles. It's not so in the case of magazine, because magazines follow a mono style. There is one person who rewrites every copy. All magazines have a standard style. That's called a house style. If you read one copy in a magazine, you can easily find out which magazine it is. It is not the case with newspaper entertains different styles. So it's a kind of a luxury where you're able to get exposed to different types of style, different types of usage, different choice of words, and different skills. So reading, writing, and listening, these are the three important traits we need to nurture at a very very early level, so that when you come up to a level, you'll live in a sort of a comfort zone where you'll not be much bothered about your language skills. Your challenges will be elsewhere on the field. How to approach an issue, how to speak to a person, how to interview a person, which piece of information should come at the top of the news report, which should go to the bottom, which should be reported, which should not be reported. These are the challenges on the field. These are the field challenges. But when you prepare yourself to be a journalist, these are the things you need to. These are the skills we need to develop from this level, so that you'll automatically qualify as a journalist. Networking, meeting with people, making friends, using every opportunity to converse, using every opportunity to communicate, either in writing, but don't fully depend on the social media, because social media corrupts your English, and also blunts your ability to identify truth from lies. Social media is 99% lies, 1% truth, unverified truth. Right. Any other questions?
What's from your side?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon,
I am Shamuvel from First Time English, sir.
Shanmugavel. Right.
Sir, what are the required skills for the great content writer?
Content writer. Yes, content writing. Content writing in the current context. Content writing is the one of the most wanted professions of professions everywhere. There's huge demand for content writing. Whatever I said for a journalist applies to a content writer also. But content writer should be a practitioner 24 by 7. You should keep on writing, because content writing has different facets. It's not like journalistic writing is one facet of content writing, one part of content writing. Content writing uh, comes in different forms. Now you have subsets also. You have travel writing, you have feature writing, you have story writing, you have fiction writing, you have technical writing, you have so many food blogs. Content writing, uh, all marketable products require content, basically. And the kind of content they are looking for is very sharp, crisp, and easily understandable. That is a higher level of writing, for which you have to keep writing every day. You have to keep improving your writing every day. You have to compare your writing with the best writing in the field. If your interest is food, and you want to provide content for the food industry or food bloggers, or anything related to food, you have to specialize first. You have to be very strong in the vocabulary of food, and you should have the ability to convey your experience in writing. Practice will make you perfect. Every day you have to keep on writing every day. Write 5 sentences. Read 10 pages, write 5 sentences. Experiment with writing. Start writing in active voice, 5 sentences active voice. Next day, write 5 sentences in passive voice. Again, some other day, write 10 sentences without repeating an adjective. Again, another 10 sentences without repeating an adverb. Write 10 simple sentences. Then some other day, write 10 complex sentences. Then start writing on a theme. Say college. Write 10 sentences about college. But that should not contain your classroom, your degree, your portions, your syllabus, your teacher. Write 10 sentences about college, just college, not necessarily Kalishwari College, just college. Write 10 sentences that have no academic scent. There are so many other things in a college. Think out of the box, think something very different. Content writing is about providing entirely new experience for the readers. It cannot be cliched. Journalistic writing can be cliched. Content writing in general cannot be cliched. There is no space place for cliches. So you have to come up with something new every day if you are a content writer. But there is a huge demand for it. If you start practicing from now, you can be a good content writer. Your aim should be, yes, your aim should be to become a good content writer, because it is a highly competitive field where people who provide the content read double or triple their content outside their profession. You have to read a lot, different genres, different types of style, different writings. You should get exposed to different levels of writing, different styles of writing before you venture as a writer. Without reading, it is not possible to be a writer in any form. Reading is very, very essential.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any more questions or clarifications?
Then we can wrap up. No more questions, sir.
Okay, right. So we can wind up.
Yes, sir. You can wind up, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll meet next week. Thank you.